Good evening, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Tuscany, Unexpected Florence. This is, of course, organized by the Italian National Tourism Board of US and Canada. And I also want to thank, of course, once again, all the attendees that have been part of the entire series right now. This is the fifth chapter of the web series, or I should say, the webinars on the beautiful region of Tuscany. Now, I can see here that we have, as usual, a large contingent from the US and, of course, Canada, but also we are very grateful once again to have our friend from Mexico and Puerto Rico joining us for today's presentation. Now, we are going today, finally, we're closing up, as I said, this series that once again is not meant to really show you everything that Tuscany has to offer, but to give you a little bit more of an in-depth of some of the products and some of the destinations that might not be known, especially for destinations like Tuscany that's so popular in the US market. Now, today we are focusing on the Pista de Resistance on Florence. And I believe it today is going to be even more difficult because most of you, of course, referring to the attendees, think they know Florence very, very well. But, maybe we have a couple of tricks up our sleeves and a couple of things that you might don't know. So that's what we're talking about today, the unexpected experience in Florence. Now, we talk about beautiful Florence. I am from Tuscany, and Florence, of course, is where my parents are from. So this is very close and dear to my heart, and I hope they of course they're going to do a great job with it. And especially, I think it will be very interesting for you, honestly, to learn about things that maybe are not immediately associated with this beautiful city. Now, I'm going to go through the panel of all the people that we have today. Now, starting from, of course, the now a household name, the fifth appearance, once again, in our webinars. We have the promotion and business executive from Toscana Promozione Turistica, Marta Iavarone. Hello, Marta. Thank you for being with us. I also have the sales manager of Florence Convention Bureau, Ilenia Pasi. Ciao, Ilenia. And last but not least, of course, an official Florence tour guide from the beautiful city of Florence. So, of course, we have Francesco Calanca. Ciao, Francesco. Now, very good. So now, let's talk about Florence. Marta, you are from Florence. You live in Florence. So tell us, what is the unexpected, why we have this beautiful title on this great, great city?
Okay, so we are all three from Florence. We can say four with Francesco, even if he is imported from Grosseto. But okay, yes. And we would like to explain and to show you an unexpected Florence. So some unusual or not well-known services and products you can put in your packages, or you can let your clients test and leave, because some are really emotional. So I just want to share with you a beautiful picture of Florence we made with a drone during the lockdown. So you can see how we miss you in this period. Yes, we really miss you, and we really hope be able to come very, very, very soon. So this is Florence, and I don't want to anticipate a lot about the presentation because it's really unusual, and I let Ilenia speak about it, and I may be able for any question you have.
Thank you, Marta. Thank you. All right, Ilenia. So it looks like you're on stage right now. Francesco is going to be waiting in the wing and be talking in a minute. But so, Ilenia, walk us through. I think you have a daunting experience because once again, these are, really top-notch either travel writers or travel agents from the United States and Canada and Mexico. So they've been selling Florence quite a bit. So let's see if we can sort of surprise them. So go ahead. Sure. Welcome.
I will do my best in order to surprise a little bit. So hello again, I'm Ilenia, and I'm very happy to be with you, virtually with you today, showing you the secret, curious, and unexpected Florence. So as as they told you at the very beginning, I'm representing the Convention Bureau of Florence. So I want to be too long explaining who we are, because I think you are very well known about the role of a convention bureau. So like any other convention bureau in the world, we are a non-profit consortium, and our aim is to promote the destination in order to attract events, and in our case, a good quality and qualified leisure tourism. This thanks to a strong support from local institutions, as we are the official partner of the Florence municipality and of Tuscany region through Toscana Promozione Turistica, who invited us today with you. So actually, this is a recap of who we are. We represent the destination 360 degrees, and both for events, destination weddings, because Tuscany is a romantic place as well, but even for leisure, which is the focus today with the division called Destination Florence. So this is important to say, because when we talk about Convention Bureau and what we are about showing you, so the fact of having different and unexpected opportunities, everything is related to the fact that Convention Bureau is the synergy with its members and partners. We have more than 300 members and partners that can be all the suppliers you may need in order to create your own packages for Florence. So starting from tour operators, gift partners, entertainment companies, transfer companies, whatever you need, we have in order to support you behind the scenes for your clients. So as Francesco said, maybe you are very well known about Tuscany and the fact that Tuscany and Florence are located exactly in the heart of Italy. And this is the area of good and healthy food, of course, a particular place where you can find not only a city center, but countryside, hills, vineyards, and also the sea. So actually, we are a green city, an open sky museum, and of course, we are very well known in the world to be part of the UNESCO heritage. But we are not only monuments, history, culture, we are a modern city, and we have even much more. Indeed, we are working together as Destination Florence, together with Florence municipality, to promote not only the historical city center, but even the surroundings of Florence. So the hills and the panorama you are enjoying from this picture. So let's have a look now together at some unexpected possibilities that the city of Florence and the whole Florentine area and surroundings, as I was saying, can offer. So today I have collected for you some examples of special and curious opportunities in order to use this freeze time we are forced in, unfortunately, for dreaming about all the incredible and unusual opportunities you can offer to your clients as soon as they can come back to visit Tuscany again. So, as we said, Tuscany is famous all over the world for its Tuscan countryside. So we must start with a great classic, but revisited in a cool way. I'm talking about the first picture, so the safari trail among the Florentine vineyards. This is a dedicated tour for those lovers of wine and Tuscan countryside, for those lovers of the so-called under the Tuscan sun atmosphere. So those looking for a unique and fun experience. Indeed, there will be the opportunity to discover timeless countries and ancient farmhouses, crossing vineyards, but on board, as you can see, of a Discovery Land Rover, so in a more dynamic way. And your clients will have, for example, the chance to immortalize the typical colors of Tuscan countryside. For example, doing a stop for an open-air picnic or a tasting of a typical Tuscan lunch inside the cellar, and obviously everything accompanied by a good red wine from those areas, of course. And then we can move to the second picture, so from the hills to the Arno River in the city center. And yes, your eyes don't deceive. This is a real urban rafting experience in the Florence city center along the flows of the Arno River that pass under the 4 main historical bridges of Florence city center indeed. The river, as you may know, is of course very quiet, and it is ideal then to relax, even in a more dynamic way, but taking photographs and admiring the typical architecture of Florence from a different and unique perspective. So at the same time, you will have even the possibility, as this is a dynamic and sport activity, to do a thrilling descent down the dam of San Nicolò, arriving under the picturesque arches of the Arno River, from where you can admire the Vasari corridor, or, for example, the goldsmith's workshop from the below perspective. So believe me when I say that this is a wow effect guaranteed experience. But the unexpected could be even in the city center and its monuments. In fact, thanks to this official partnership we have with the municipality of Florence and Tuscany region, we are able to open you those hidden doors and the most secret places of Florence just for you, allowing your clients to have special guided tours visits with a personal guide and assistant, literally face to face with the most famous masterpieces in the world. So to name a few, the Accademia Gallery, where the David of Michelangelo statue is placed, or the, for example, the unknown and ancient female zone on the first floor of the baptistry in front of the Duomo. And then Palazzo Vecchio, with its secret rooms and passages that was the palace where the old family, Medici family, used to live. So these and even...
Ilenia, let me ask you one question. Sorry if I interrupt. But so you're referring to basically rooms that usually people don't have access when they just enter the baptistry or the Palazzo Vecchio. Those are specifically.
These are real hidden passages.
Oh, wow.
For example, there is one that nobody knows except from the guide that you can enjoy during these visits. That is positioned in the room dedicated to the geography, where all the walls are full of the different
globes.
pieces of the world. Sorry for the noise.
Yeah.
So, and these, of course, are opportunities, secrets opportunities, and there is much more, because when you think about Florence, you cannot miss the fact that we are talking about the city of artisans. So Florence has always been indeed the hub of innovation and the birthplace of a dazzling minds. So even if these crafts have transformed throughout the year, you can still walk today through the narrow street in Florence and see how the traditional artisans and innovators take reinvent these old crafts with a modern twist. Just to name an example, I can say that there is a famous jewelry that is called Paolo Penco, that is the one and only authorized from the city to reproduce the ancient coin of Florence, the so-called florin, fiorino in Italian. So actually, artisans are our core part of our traditions, and they have a long-lasting tradition, but there are unexpected activities to do. And just to name another example could be the last picture. So the historical pharmacies, because historical pharmacies are very well known in Florence, even for their exclusive perfumes. So these, as you can see from the picture, are really old-fashioned and refined with furnishings that are beautiful and full of details that can be comparable with those details of monuments and buildings in the surrounding areas. Yeah. So you can give the possibility to the clients to enjoy a multisensorial activity inside these pharmacies throughout the 5 senses, and why not even create their own formula in order to realize a personalized perfume to take back them at home. So actually, these are just some ideas I wanted to to share with you, just to explain how Florence can be unexpected, even for those ones who live in and who knows Florence very well. So I don't want to be too long. So actually, here you will find all my contacts, because what I'm about to say is the fact that here, now more than ever, I want to feel this human touch, even if virtual. So I will be happy to reply to your phone calls or to your emails, and to have some little talks about the unexpected Florence. So before launching a video showing you in a fun context the unexpected Florence that we were mentioning, I would like to share with you a quote that I personally love so much, and I think that it's very good to share with you in this moment.
Okay.
That is, can I say?
Of course, sure. Go ahead.
Okay, so expect the unexpected, and whenever possible, be the unexpected.
Oh,
so
wow.
Yes, this was like my way of thanking you for inviting me today, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation. So now I leave you to the video.
Perfect.
Enjoy.
Yeah, but yeah, don't worry, we're gonna get back to you. So you're not done yet. So we have a lot of questions.
Yes,
So,
I'm gonna be there.
okay. Well, are we gonna see the video right now, or we show it later? We're gonna see it right now, no? And we're gonna watch the video. Perfect.
Yeah.
Let's watch the video.
Thanks.
Oh, Florence! It's amazing! Aren't you happy, sweetie?
Yeah, I guess. An entire week among churches and museums. Wow.
Oh ragazzi, o penserete mica che Firenze sia tutto lì, eh?
Tu pura principessa,
nella tua fredda stanza.
Guardi le stelle che tremano d'amore
e di speranza.
Ma il mio mistero è chiuso in me.
Il nome mio nessun saprà.
Awesome. Awesome. I loved it. I loved it. Fantastic. Fantastic. And it's just because it's about Florence. Finally, it's a beautiful video that I think it's very, very smart, because I say it and I'm exhausted, keep on saying it. The value of tourism in Italy as a whole, not just for Florence, it's the people, the stories, the faces, your enthusiasm. That's really what it really boils down to. Florence isn't just a laundry list of places to visit. It really is this ability to connect with the local, and it's just this really gave us a sense of that. So I want to thank you, Elena. It's awesome. I have a lot of questions on it, but we go back to it. And now it's a perfect segue. We talk about the people, talk about the history, and even in Francesco, when we talk, when in dry around, how it's an integral part of the history of Florence. The fact that the city, as you see it, it really is a celebration of the what do you call it, the human spirit, and moreover the individuality of the man. So in fact, I always say that when people come to me and says, I don't know, I like Rome, but Florence is my favorite. And most of the time, it isn't because, of course, Florence has more sight or anybody else, or because, of course, Rome has more. It's just the fact that when you come into Florence, the way it's built, the way it's created, you really feel that you own it. And it's a weird feeling. So we go now to Francesco, and I'll stop talking because I'm just rambling like an idiot. But we now start talking about to the beautiful city of Florence that he knows very well, and he's going to give us a complete view of the history, why Florence is the way it is, why Renaissance is the way it is, and is complete in the beautiful picture of what this extraordinary movement had created, hence Florence. So Francesco, stop talking, please take it away before I say something super stupid. Go ahead.
No, you don't. You don't sound stupid at all. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me here, first of all. And I have to say, it's an honor and a pleasure to be part of this unexpected Florence experience. And so yes, as you said before, I have been a licensed tour guide for 5 years now. And the idea of a gay tour, as you can see, occurred to me after, realizing that the itineraries were more or less the same. And, sadly, they were getting a little tedious, a little boring. So that was when I decided to make the most of my academic career, my background, and I started doing research on the subject. And I found it so fascinating that I was really hooked on it from the start, from the get-go. And I know that there's been a lot of talk on, queer and gender studies, but I think that this approach is still quite new in the field of Renaissance art and history. So basically, I said to myself, why not try it on a tour? And I was super excited, and I am still, because there's nothing like this in Florence, not that I'm aware of. And as we all know, for a very long time, these topics were banned or censored. Now more than ever, I think it's important to look at history, and I mean like capital H history, from a different standpoint, from a different point of view, specifically from the point of view of those who have been excluded from history, who didn't get the chance to take part in the historical process. So why not talk about the marginalized Renaissance gay community in Florence, which truly existed and thrived here. There you go. Florence really was unique. It still is unique in many different ways, but in this concern, it was really special. I thought the best way to present this neglected part of history would be a walking tour in the city center. So a walking tour that covers the most iconic spots of old Florence. So I believe it's perfect for first-time visitors, and here's the unexpected part, I look at monuments with a queer eye, with a queer interpretation. It's like rereading history to find the voices that have been suppressed or killed sometimes, or just put on mute mode. So not many people know, and not even Florentines, I mean, not even people from Florence themselves, they don't know that this city was, to quote from a special author, a sodomitical hotbed. And if you don't mind my using this word in these troubled times, but it kind of spread, metaphorically, like a virus. Sodomy was everywhere from Florence. Just think that the Germans, they made up a verb, Florenzen, which in English would sound like to Florence, and it actually meant to have gay sex. So it's funny, but it's true. This reputation went on for centuries. And the first Italian gay bar, really the first legal Italian gay bar, was actually opened here in Florence in 1974, right on the main square, Piazza della Signoria. That is where I start the tour. And I believe that this is the perfect starting point. Piazza della Signoria is an extraordinary museum. It's full of celebrated Renaissance monuments, the most important ones, including the worldwide famous replica of Michelangelo's David, which sits right on the square. But then again, and here's the unexpected side, the secret love affairs and public scandals of the greatest Renaissance masters come to the surface, like Donatello, Leonardo da Vinci, and Michelangelo, of course. They were all gay. Although some, like Leonardo da Vinci, didn't hide their sexual orientation, they were very open about it. And there's extensive evidence to support that claim. Others, like Michelangelo, were terribly frustrated and ashamed of their condition. This is why there's still a prejudice, a strong prejudice, around Michelangelo's sexuality. Really, just think that when Michelangelo's love sonnets were published after his death, the editors got rid of all the male references and changed them into female to make him straight, to make him look good or acceptable. And the poems will only get back to their original form in the 19th century, like 400 years later, which is really, incredible if you think about it. But then, serious facts and less serious facts. I had fun, really. I think this is a tour that can be both entertaining and informative, and I had fun mapping out a sort of Renaissance gay itinerary far from the main streets, far from the crowded streets of Florence. I found out where the old cruising areas and meeting spots were located, the old Court of Justice. Some of the old streets look exactly the same as they were, and they feel authentic. And it's like walking back like 500 years into a virtually unknown part of the history of Florence. And you kind of turn into this urban detective, and every footstep you take is a hidden story that you uncover. So it's kind of fun also. And finally, I just wanted to say that a great deal of my research was focused on the Medici dynasty, following the success of the TV show and, the great fame of the Medici family. There are hundreds of books on the Medici history, but very few of those books really mention the role they played in protecting and supporting gay artists. And again, the old prejudice, but turns out their part was crucial. I mean, without them, this permissive sexual policy wouldn't have been possible. So what I did was I really began to question the official narratives. Of course, you cannot reject them altogether, but you can always challenge the main point of view, their point of view. And I wanted to provide a sort of decentered narration to inscribe homosexuality in this centric heterosexual narrative. And as soon as I started doing that, these great historical figures really appeared more human, with their flaws, their advantages, and they kind of came to life, if you know what I mean. Like, I found out, and I'm just gonna, tell you this quick and funny episode about the life of Grand Duke Ferdinand II. He was super gay, and he had filled up the whole court, the whole Pitti Palace, with dozens of gay servants, gay butlers, and gay pages, and so on. So one day, his mother came into the room where he was reading with a piece of paper. She had a piece of paper, and said to him, like, "Look, this is the list of all the perverted sodomites that we have here at court, and it's disgusting. We gotta do something about it. We should burn them at the stake. That's what she said to him. And Ferdinand took one look at this list. He added his own name to the list and then cast the piece of paper into the fireplace, and he said, "There you go, mother. Now we all got what we deserve." So
wow,
the whole
there
list.
you go. Chapeau.
Finding this anecdotes on chronicles and stuff, it was real blast for me. It was really
No,
like.
Sorry if I interject you for a second and let you proceed. But I was thinking while you were talking, I had this image in mind. You remember, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, one of the biggest deals that we had in Florence was finally Cappella Brancacci, when they removed the leaves and all that. And it really feels, when I see things like this, that this is what really happens. I mean, the idea to finally see things how they were meant to be, how they were originated, why statue have that kind of look with them, why certain forms are a certain way. And this is not just an eyebrow discussion. Really makes the difference walking in a city and understanding that some of those pivotal artists and artist movement have that component that was either taken away from them, or they were put in a position they had to either hide it, or it was rewritten, as you just said, about Michelangelo and his poem. So I think it really is, and I cannot stress enough, and I'm grateful that you're here talking about it, how integral it is as a fully understanding, for have a full understanding of the city of Florence, how important it is to also understand that a portion of the life of the artist.
Yes, no, I absolutely agree with you. I mean, if all you need is just that little piece of information, that's just what you need to completely change your perception of Florence and its art and its history. So I believe that, to sum up, I'd say that this tour is it's designed to make people aware of the historical traces of the LGBT community and kind of give a fuller picture, as you said, of our fragmented history. Unfortunately, we have been fragmented throughout the centuries. We're getting back together. We're pulling the pieces together right now, and it's very, it's very satisfactory. So thank you very much for
absolutely
opportunity. So yeah, this is it.
That's it.
That's it. Yes.
Oh wow, no, because I wanted to see. I want to hear more. That's it. So I'm used to myself that I talk for hours. I appreciate your.
I can just add a couple of things about this tour. Is the tour is obviously totally customizable. It's totally flexible because it's a walking tour, so it's easy to do. And I take my clients to see the monuments and the buildings from the outside. So, but if they want, of course, we can get in. And I've come up with, there are 2 more tours coming up on the same subject, still LGBT themed tours. One is called Queering the Renaissance. I love this title. At the Bargello Museum, which is kind of off the beaten track. One of Florence's best kept secrets, I'd say. It's one of the least visited museums in town. And now, unfortunately, it's closed, but it's going to be open again in August. And there are the queerest works of art ever, like in Western art there. And the second one is called Inside Michelangelo's Closet. And I'll take people to see Michelangelo's works of art in the Academy and in the Medici Chapel to, get inside his mind a little bit. So this is what I'm working on at the moment.
Fantastic. No, I applaud you for that. And once again, it's really about a city or a movement that is an expression of such excellence. It deserves to be completely understood because it's so incredible what came out of it. I mean, arguably, Renaissance really gave birth to some of the most incredible work of art and cities known to man, and it's deserving that we understand exactly how they were able to do that. And it wasn't just about the money, just about talent, but it was about a lot of components, and one of these that need to be addressed. Now, before we move along, and we want to make sure that nobody fell asleep by listening to us, which is always, it doesn't happen, but it could. So we always like a playful thing. We run out a couple of questions to see just if you're alert, you're listening to us, or and so I'm going to launch a couple of polls just to be sure that you're following with us. So again, these are meant to be more like a playful thing. This is not take it serious. So we start with the first question, and here we are. I'm launching it now. So among the 4 Renaissance masters, such as, of course, Raphael, Michelangelo, Leonardo, only one of them wasn't gay. Which one is it? Okay, so we have Michelangelo, Donatello, Raffaello, and Leonardo. Which one you think is not gay? Let's see. There's a race. So we get I think it's pretty established from what I see here that Leonardo is out of the race, as well as Michelangelo. So it's a toss-up between Donatello and Raffaello. So it's about 70% of you who have voted, almost all of you. So I'm going to close the poll in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. And I share the results with everybody. Okay, so we see here, of course, Leonardo, Michelangelo, I think everybody agrees. Now, there's a consensus that Raffaello was indeed the one that was not gay. Which one is the correct answer, Francesco?
It's Raphael.
Okay, so they got it right. Fantastic, fantastic.
Yeah, they got it right.
But this again, once again, is just showing that why can we not talk about one, but really, I mean, 3 out of 4 of the masters are indeed, because it isn't just about, I think, sexual inclination. It's the fact that culturally they have to live a life that it was, of course, led to, what people thought about it, or, how they were perceived. So it's very interesting to learn they were able to cope with it, and also how they were able to sort of work that into the artistic expression they were sort of putting together. Now, we go to a different question. This, I think, it would be pretty easy to answer because we see pictures. Is it possible to do rafting on the Arno River? Again, rafting, you've seen it in pictures, you've seen a thing. So let's see if you have the answer here. I think this should be pretty easy. Everybody's getting it right. You can do the rafting. And by the way, this is not a stupid question because I was in Florence. It is not an easy river to navigate. Am I correct, Ilenia? There's a lot of little, like, sono un sacco così tornelli, like they're little, like, now I can't come up with a word, like basically they bring you down in some places that there's like gorgeous. So it's not an easy, in certain section, place to do it. So I think it must be a pretty fun rafting experience, isn't it?
Yes, you're right. It's hard to do the rafting on Arno, even if it is quiet, you have this descent, so it's not quite easy.
Yeah, of course. Everybody was listening to what you were saying, so that's the good news. 96% got it right. So yes, you can definitely do rafting, and it probably is a pretty fun thing to try out. Finally, we do the last questions here. Here we go. We actually touched upon this, so let's see if you know about this. Is the statue of David in Piazza della Signoria the original one, or it is a replica? So this should be, if you've been to Florence, unless you cannot count, this is a pretty self-explanatory because there are, in fact, several replicas of Michelangelo's statue in the city of Florence. So let's see if you get it right. All right. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Most of you got it right. Of course you did. Okay. Yes, of course it is a replica. The original is the Accademia. And that sort of concludes this little, again, just to see. So it looks like they're awake. They're awake. They're listening. They're interested, of course. Of course, joking. Good. Now, good. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions because I'm going to go through the questions that have been sort of given to us during the presentation, and see if we can address some of them. In the meantime, though, while I'm doing this, I have a question for Francesco. you mentioned something about the fact that your tour are customizable, but so generally when people book, what kind of sort of numbers are we talking about? How many people usually join your tour? What should I expect? Is that 50 people, 20 people? How big are the group that you usually have?
They're not the groups are not big. The largest group that I have had in the past wasn't larger than 5 people. So I normally get small groups, families, even with children, and so it's perfectly suitable. And individuals as well, like singles. There are more and more, single gay and lesbian travelers that like to enjoy, some kind of off the beaten track tour, and I got a lot of them, and so the numbers are very low.
Gotcha.
Right?
Gotcha.
Not in terms of, but in terms of the width of the group itself.
Sure. So I have a question now for Ilenia, because I think it was triggered, and I actually have the same question. So in the picture you were showing, when you were talking about artisans, you pointed out to a pottery, sort of the guys who are doing some ceramics or pottery. So they're asking, can you take pottery lessons with artisans? Are those things available?
Yes, this is something that is available in Florence and even in the surroundings, because there are so many craftsmen's artworks where you can really enjoy this activity with artists. So even in a special context, because the greatest part of them are located in historical buildings. So you will be fully immersed with the art of Florence in an historical buildings, doing this activity with an artisan. That is something special. And then we have here in the surroundings of Florence, famous pottery production for the realization of dishes and so on. So actually, you will be plenty of choices in this sense.
And the segue to that one is related to the video. I think I mentioned to you when I was doing the dry run. Of all the different things during this song, there was this woman who was walking into the certification, with all those looms, old looms. And I have to say, it's one of my pet peeves. I always point it out. It's one of the few places that I recommend, if they have a chance, people either to visit or to get to the store. Even just when you enter, that have on the wall all the different type of seals, the colors that they see, it's incredible. Can you expand a little bit on that? Where is it? What can you do there?
Yeah, it is located in Florence. This is a real silk factory. It dates back to 1786, and it is a long-lasting tradition. So as you were saying, when you enter, you feel these to be part of these long-lasting traditions in terms of artisans. And this is even this connection with the international part of Florence, because this is a tradition that starts from the Chinese experience. So even the fact of being related since many, many years to these different countries, and the fact for Florence for being an international and very dynamic city. So the possibility for clients is to be guided through the history of this silk factory, knowing the different characteristics of the family owning the silk factory at that time and even now. And you can even try to do something with the artisans as well. So this is something that you can do, for example, not only in the silk factory, but even in the shoemaker artisans, or in the museum dedicated to shoes and fashion, such as we have the Gucci Museum, of course, where you can even see how the shoes were created by them and by Ferragamo, for sure.
Of course, fantastic. I have a question. This is actually for Francesco. This is about a question. I'm reading because I don't want to get it wrong. Was there a religious issue with other religions existing at the time, or was just the Catholic? The issue with
the issue, like the problem, the question of homosexuality and the repression of sodomy was entirely carried out by the Roman Catholic Church and the Inquisition. But in Florence, there was an exception. Florence was an exceptional city in the sense that it was the only city in Europe that had a specific court of justice. They were known as the officers of the night, and they were, created by the Signoria, the government of the city of Florence, in order to specifically prosecute crimes related to sodomy. But this is an exception. No other city in Europe at that time had such a thing, because those cases were normally, handled by the General Criminal Court of Justice. So Florence had something that, it was a kind of a very, I would say, a local product, like the Chianti wine. So to be a gay person back then in Florence, it wasn't really hard. I mean, it was such a
Sure.
Well, it's kind of a long story, but there weren't any other religions. I mean, the Catholic Church was the only one. So
Perfect.
yes.
So I don't want to take too much of your time. I want to thank you. And again, being from Tuscany and Florence, like Marta was pointing out, because my dad is from Florence, I'm not, so sorry. But anyway, being affectionate to the city where I did study for a few years, and where all my people that I love in my life are, I want to thank you, because I think you did great service, and I believe you did manage to actually give few extra ideas about what otherwise is a very, very, very established destination. So with this, I want to thank you, of course, Ilenia. I want to thank Francesca. I want to thank Marta. Thank you very much. No, actually, before I yes.
Yes.
Am I right? Am I leaving a video out? There's a video, isn't it, Marta?
Yes.
I knew it. I was gonna make a mistake. I'm sorry. So let's see this beautiful video to close up this beautiful presentation of the city of Florence. Enjoy.
Just 2 words. Visit
Yes, sorry, Marta, the video cut you off. What were you saying?
Yes, I just wanted to say this is a preview. We will have in English the video very soon. We launched it in Italian last Friday, and this is our new videos for the advertising campaign of Tuscany. So Renaissance without ending. So
Perfect.
this is the title of the video, and because Tuscany is all about Renaissance, not only the main cities. So, and Renaissance is a newborn, so there is no end to the newborn. So
exactly. Awesome. Thank you very much. So now I can close it. I think we took care of everything. So once again, Marta, thank you. Francesco, thank you. Ilenia, thank you. Thank you very much for doing such a great job in sort of talking about, again, my favorite city in the world. And last but not least, to all the attendees, we want to have an extra thanks to Francesco and his generosity, because we are going to send out, after the webinar today, a quick questionnaire with a couple of questions, once again, to see if you're paying attention during the webinar. And the first 10 people that will answer correctly to this question will have a chance to join Francesco in Florence and on his tour to learn more about the beautiful city of Florence. Now, on top of that, you also be receiving, as usual, a survey where they're going to give us a feedback of today's presentation. If you want to have more information, of course, all the attendees today in the panel you will have their emails and the contact information to ask more questions, to learn more about what we talked about today. And once again, give us a feedback on the actual format. If you want to change anything, we will do so. If you want to go away and to have somebody that takes my place, I'm happy to step down. Now, at the end, I want to thank, of course, all the people that are putting this together. It isn't just me rambling. There's, of course, our colleague from our Toronto office, of course, Sabrina and Salvatore, from our Los Angeles office, Emanuela and Fabrizio, and of course, from our New York office, Caterina, Cosmo, and Marzia. Thank you very much. See you in the next one. Bye. Ciao.